Okay, guys, so just so you know, I'm going to skip a little bit of this because it's really not the meat and potatoes that we're looking for. Down here is absolutely the meat and potatoes. So this is where I'm going to start and finish, and it's going to hone in on what your homework is going to look like, your first homework assignment. So if you did watch the pre-lesson, you're going to be way ahead. I encourage you to get in the habit of watching them. They're just going to benefit you. It's going to give you the background information of what it is I'm talking about at this moment. But without further ado, this is our radius. We know that. And if I took that length and followed it along here, I'm going to guess right about there. So that distance is the radius. I'm just guessing, though. Then I connect the dots. I got a piece of pizza pie, and this is also obviously the radius. This is not the circle's radius, but it is the length of the radius, and therefore this is called a radian. That's the degree measure from here to here. I shouldn't have even said degree measure, but they are interchangeable. Seeing I said it, let's talk about it. 1 radian is approximately 60 degrees. So, if I was to put 3 of these in here, it would end up, I'm going to try to be a perfectionistic guy right now, right about there. So this is a radian, that's a radian, this is a radian. How many radians have we counted so far? 3. 1, 2, 3. What is that little sliver right there? Amazingly, it's 0.14 of a radian. Think about it. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3, plus 0.14. What is that? That is 3.14 radians. What does that equal? Again, it amazingly equals 180 degrees. These two things are equal. So, mathematicians decide to abbreviate and just say, hey, that's pi radians equals 180 degrees. Now, you don't know why I'm talking about this, but let me ask you a question. What's 7 divided by 7? Well, it's 1, because anything divided by itself is 1. I'm going to take these two things that are equal, and I'm going to go pi radian. I'm going to divide it by 180 degrees. Well, if you divide anything by itself, it equals 1. Let's flip these. 180 degrees over pi radian. Well, that's just like flipping these two 7s. It's still going to equal 1. Now I want you to put a little cloud around that, just so it jumps out at you. That right there is, I'll call it a formula, but it's like a conversion formula. Both of these are. So you got 2 conversion formulas. Why do we need them? Well, let's go ahead and tackle these easy ones. 2 pi radians equals how many degrees? Well, if 1 pi equals 180, then 2 pi has to be 360. That'll become automatic. You'll get used to that. And we already talked about it. 1 pi radian is exactly 180 degrees. These guys right here, I'm going to skip for the moment. I might skip them completely because we're going to talk about those things down here a little bit more. But let's go ahead and talk about this. Radians. They're going to give you math problems like this. They're going to say, okay, let's go ahead and talk about, let's just grab something like 2 pi over 3. All right. So the absolute easiest problem are these types because we know that pi equals what? Pi equals 180. Just using some substitution, we're going to go 2 times 180 all over 3. Well, I'm going to do this. 3 goes into 180 60 times. 2 times 60 is 120. Now, student number 2 might say, well, wait a minute, Mr. Kleefish. On the pre-lesson, didn't you just say that pi over 3 was 60 degrees? Yep, that's another way a student could do it, by memorization. Pi over 3 is 60. 60 times 2 is 120. But I'm going to use these little rascals over here for a third technique. I'm going to take this 2 pi over 3, remember, radians, because that's what we have, and I'm going to get rid of the radians, and all I want is degrees left. So I'm going to pick whichever one has radians in the denominator. That's this one. And I'm going to go 180 degrees all over pi radians. And this up here is also 2 pi over 3 radians. So we're kind of keeping our digits. These would cancel. The pi's would cancel. And then we're back to the basics. 3 goes into 180 60 times. 60 times 2 gives us 120. Now, I like this technique way better, way easier. Now, let's reverse the order, though. What if they gave us a math problem, and they said, okay, let's go ahead and take something like 60, I'm just going to go 62 degrees on this one. And this is a weird one, 62 degrees. What am I supposed to do with that? This is where these formulas get really helpful, because this one's just wonky. Well, think about it, guys. I'm going to take that degree symbol out, and I'm going to write the word degree in. Now remember, what do we want to disappear? We want degrees to disappear. So that means we've got to have a degree in the bottom so that they will cancel. That means I'm going to grab this one. Now I'm going to write pi radians over 180 degrees. And let's stop for a second. What does this equal? Well, it equals 1. What's anything times 1? Itself. So we're just changing the way it looks, but we're not changing its value. Keep that in mind, too, as we do these. These degrees will cancel. Well, this is a mess. Exactly. That's what these are good for, when it gets messy. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this. I'm not going to show it to you. I'm just going to talk to you through it. We're going to go 62 times. Now I see that it's times pi. I'm just going to type in 3.14. And then I'm going to divide that by 180. And we get 1.0, whoops, excuse me. Sorry. 1.0 radians. Now I want to go back to this. Look at 1 radian is approximately 60 degrees. Approximately. What do we got here? 62 degrees. And we have 1.08 radians. You see how we're in the ballpark? Our math is starting to make sense here. I know it's strange, but you'll get used to it. So let's go ahead and tackle a couple sample problems before you guys dive into your somewhat simple homework assignment. When I say simple, it's just short, and it's just this exact strategy right here. So look at, we got 30 degrees, and they want us to convert that to radians. Well, one method would be to just go like this. I know that 180 degrees equals pi radians. Notice how I'm leaving the radian, the word, off. When the pi shows up, that's the trigger. That's in terms of radians. This is degrees. Well, what do I have to divide 180 by to get 30? Well, 6. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to divide that thing. What does this represent? 180 degrees, but it's pi radians. And that's going to be pi over 6 radians. I like that technique. Let me show you a different one. 30 degrees. What do we want to disappear? We want these degrees to disappear. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to grab this one that has degrees in the bottom, and I'm going to go pi. Look at, I'm going to bring my units here, radians, over 180 degrees. Now you see that little symbol right there? If I mentally want to do it and just put the word in, it kind of helps math, because I'm just going to cancel them. Then I got 30 reduces to 180, 60 times, 6 times, and then I end up with pi over 6 radians. It's the same answer, it just takes a little longer. All right. Well, the reason I showed you the second technique on an easy problem is because you're going to need it sometimes. This 260, and again, I'm going to convert that degree symbol into the little word. And then remember, what is it that I want to disappear? I want I want degrees to disappear. I want radians to be my final product. That means I got to pick the one where this guy is in the denominator so that it will cancel. That ends up being this little formula. So I got pi radians over 180 degrees. I'm going to cancel out these units because that's what I wanted in the first place. Again, mathematically, this is going to be very strange, but I'm going to go ahead and multiply this all out. So I'm going to take the 260. I'm going to multiply it by pi, which is just 3.14. And then I'm going to divide that by 180, and I get 4.53 radians. And if you want to think about it, go back up to this picture. What does 1 radian approximately equal? 60 degrees. So if 4 radians, forget about the 0.53, just forget about the 0.53 a second. If I think about just 4 radians, what's 4 times 60? 240, plus a little more. We're in the ballpark, 260 degrees. So these things are equal. Again, I know this is new and it's probably very strange. Gotta love these. Why? As soon as your brain starts functioning properly, you're going to go, hey, wait a minute, I know what pi is. It's 180 degrees. So it's 7 times 180 over 6. Without a doubt, the easiest way to do these. There's a different way, but this is the easiest for sure on these. So 6 goes into 180. 30 times 7 times 30 is 210 degrees. Do the same thing. 3 times, what's pi? 180 all over 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and reduce these. It just makes life a little easier. That's 45, and that's 135 degrees. Okay, so you guys are to do the homework assignment, which is right here, 6 problems. And definitely check Schoology for those answers. They're provided. And then when we get a chance to talk, the next time we meet, we're going to discuss any issues you have and just kind of pound this in a little bit better. If it's weird, if you're uncomfortable with it, it's very natural. So be patient with yourself, work at it, ask some friends. But yeah, I look forward to talking with you about this when we meet next time in class. All right, look forward to seeing you guys, talking to you, meeting you. Take care.